Right now, as you're watching this video, a 7-year-old child in the Democratic Republic of Congo is mining the cobalt that powers the electric vehicle sitting in your driveway, earning less than $2 for a 14-hour day that will likely shorten their life by decades. But here's what Tesla, Ford, and every major automaker desperately hopes you'll never connect. The same green revolution they're selling you as humanity's salvation is built on a foundation of environmental destruction and human suffering that makes the oil industry look ethical by comparison. While you've been told that electric vehicles are saving the planet, recently leaked internal documents from major EV manufacturers reveal a shocking truth that's been hidden from consumers. The real carbon footprint of manufacturing a single electric vehicle produces 11 to 14 metric tons of CO2, compared to just 6 to 9 tons for a gasoline car. That's a 60% increase in emissions before your EV even rolls off the lot. But the automotive industry has spent billions ensuring you never see these numbers in their marketing campaigns. What's even more disturbing is the timeline nobody talks about. Your electric vehicle needs to be driven for 16 to 18 months just to break even with the carbon emissions of a regular car. In states with coal-heavy electrical grids, this payback period stretches to over 5 years. Yet every EV commercial shows happy families driving through pristine forests, powered by sunshine and good intentions. But the manufacturing emissions are just the beginning of this story. Let me take you inside the hidden supply chain that powers your clean conscience. The Democratic Republic of Congo supplies 76% of the world's cobalt. And new research from the University of Nottingham reveals numbers that will shock you. 37% of artisanal miners work under forced labor conditions. 9% involve child labor. 7% are trapped in debt bondage. We're talking about 40,000 children, some as young as 7, working in conditions that would make 19th century factory owners blush. Tesla alone faces a 2025 lawsuit, alleging the company continues sourcing cobalt from suppliers deeply implicated in forced labor, corruption, and widespread environmental destruction. The lawsuit specifically names Glencore and Huayu Cobalt, companies with documented histories of human rights violations that read like something from a dystopian novel. Yet Tesla's stock price continues climbing, while Elon Musk tweets about saving humanity. But cobalt is only half the story. The lithium mining required for your battery consumes between 500,000 and 2 million gallons of water per ton of lithium extracted. To put that in perspective, manufacturing your electric vehicle uses nearly twice as much water as producing a gasoline car and continuing to fuel it for years. In Chile's Salar de Atacama, lithium mining is causing the entire salt flat to sink at a rate of 1 to 2 centimeters annually. Local communities report severe water shortages, with some mines consuming 60% of local water supplies in desert regions, where every drop is precious. Tesla reports using 655 gallons of water per vehicle produced. Hyundai uses 714 gallons. These numbers represent just the final assembly. When you trace back through the entire supply chain, from mining to battery production to final assembly, some estimates suggest electric vehicles require up to 3 times the water consumption of traditional vehicles over their entire life cycle. Here's where the story gets even darker. The EV battery supply chain spans an average of 50,000 miles from extraction to cell production, creating massive vulnerability to disruptions while maximizing environmental damage. China controls over 80% of global battery-grade lithium processing and 75% of global battery recycling capacity. This means America's green revolution is entirely dependent on the goodwill of our biggest geopolitical rival. Recent supply chain disruptions have caused 6 to 12-month delays in battery deliveries, with critical material shortages threatening EV production targets that governments have mandated by law. Lithium prices surged over 500% between 2021 and 2022, while nickel prices spiked 250% in early 2022. These aren't minor fluctuations in commodity markets. These are the early warning signs of a supply chain crisis that could cripple the entire electric vehicle industry. But let's talk about what hits your wallet directly. The automotive insurance industry has quietly been calculating the real costs of electric vehicle ownership, and their findings should terrify anyone considering an EV purchase. Electric vehicles carry insurance premiums that are 49% higher than gasoline vehicles, averaging $4,058 annually compared to $2,732 for traditional cars. This dramatic increase reflects higher repair costs, specialized parts requirements, and increased likelihood of total loss claims for EVs. When you factor in the average EV purchase price of $55,544 compared to $49,740 for gasoline cars, plus the insurance premium differential, the financial reality becomes stark. Yes, you'll save $1,545 annually on fuel costs, but those savings get eroded by hidden costs that dealers never mention during the sales pitch. The battery replacement cost ranges from $12,000 to $20,000. And here's what the warranty fine print doesn't tell you. Batteries degrade faster in extreme temperatures, which means if you live in Arizona, Minnesota, or really anywhere with real weather, your battery warranty might not cover the replacement you'll inevitably need. Now let me reveal the recycling lie that every environmental group perpetuates. While industry claims suggest battery recycling rates near 90%, the reality is catastrophically different. In Australia, only 12% of household batteries are recycled, compared to 60% in Europe. For lithium-ion batteries specifically, global recycling rates hover around 59%, far below the levels needed for true sustainability. European battery recycling faces particular challenges, with facilities operating at less than 10% capacity due to low battery return volumes. Transportation costs account for up to 70% of total recycling expenses, making the process economically unviable in many regions. This means the vast majority of EV batteries will end up in landfills, leaching toxic chemicals into groundwater for generations. But here's the most shocking revelation that connects everything I've just told you. European regulators are so concerned about these environmental impacts that the EU's new Green Claims Directive could prevent electric vehicles from being advertised as environmentally friendly due to their significant environmental impacts throughout the supply chain. Think about that for a moment. The same European Union that's mandating electric vehicle adoption is simultaneously considering regulations that would classify EV marketing as environmental greenwashing. This regulatory shift acknowledges what critics have long argued, that EV marketing often constitutes fraudulent environmental claims. When government regulators in the world's most environmentally conscious region are questioning whether electric vehicles can legally be called green, you know the industry has been lying to consumers on a massive scale. Life cycle analysis shows EVs in Europe produce 73% fewer greenhouse gas emissions than gasoline cars over their lifetime. But this improvement comes at the cost of increased water consumption, habitat destruction from mining, and human rights abuses in supply chains. We're essentially trading localized devastation in mining regions for cleaner air in wealthy consumer markets. The environmental costs haven't disappeared. They've just been exported to countries too poor to resist and too far away for American consumers to see. The transition to electric vehicles represents a complex environmental calculation, where children in the Congo subsidize the clean conscience of Tesla drivers in California, where indigenous communities in South America lose their water sources, so suburbanites can feel good about their carbon footprint, where massive strip mines destroy ecosystems, so corporations can claim they're saving the planet. What we're witnessing isn't environmental progress. It's environmental colonialism dressed up in Silicon Valley marketing speak. The same tech industry that promised us paperless offices while creating electronic waste mountains now promises us clean transportation while building supply chains that make blood diamonds look ethical. The most disturbing part isn't that these problems exist. It's that solutions exist too, but implementing them would require admitting the current system is fundamentally broken. Mandatory supply chain transparency, full lifecycle water consumption reporting, massive investment in battery recycling infrastructure, binding corporate accountability for supply chain abuses, and true cost pricing that integrates environmental and social costs into EV pricing could transform this industry overnight. But that would require corporations to sacrifice short-term profits for long-term sustainability. And Wall Street's quarterly earnings expectations don't leave room for moral considerations. So instead, we get marketing campaigns featuring happy families and pristine wilderness while 7-year-olds work themselves to death in cobalt mines. The question you need to ask yourself isn't whether electric vehicles are better than gasoline cars. The question is whether you're comfortable participating in a system that builds your clean conscience on the backs of exploited children and destroyed ecosystems. Whether you can drive your Tesla knowing that every mile represents a moral compromise that the automotive industry desperately hopes you'll never fully understand. Because once you understand the true cost of electric vehicles, you can't unsee it. You can't pretend that corporate sustainability reports and carbon offset credits somehow balance the scales of human suffering and environmental destruction. You can't ignore that the green revolution you've been sold is really just the latest chapter in humanity's long history of exporting our problems to people too powerless to fight back. So here's what I want you to do. Look at your electric vehicle, or the EV advertisement that convinced you to watch this video, and ask yourself, knowing what you know now, is this really the future you want to build? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Because the corporations profiting from this system are counting on your silence, your acceptance, your willingness to look the other way, as long as you can feel good about yourself. Don't give them that satisfaction. Share this video, start conversations, demand transparency, and force the industry to confront the hidden costs they've worked so hard to keep secret. The 7-year-old in the Congo can't speak for themselves, but you can speak for them. The question is, will you?